Now to our college football Week 9 crapshoot, where the Ducks won
Yeah.
in a monsoon, 21-7. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's more about the Brock Thomas situation.
I love how that's become like this. We got conspiracy theories and
wait, what are the conspiracy theories?
Well, the idea that it's.
What do we got?
How do I put this?
You read chats that I don't read.
Yeah, well, see, he was not a big time recruit. He's a local kid, right? He was kind of a clipboard holder. Sometimes you just give a kid a scholarship that's a local kid, but he's never going to play. He was 4th on the depth chart, and lo and behold, here he is now being 2nd on the depth chart. And when asked about it, Lanning kind of gets a little pissy and kind of crabby about it.
So he went to Sheldon?
Yeah, he's a Sheldon kid. And so he gets a little crabby about it. And so there are some that believe that this is more about Novosad and Luke Moga not going to be here at the end of the year. Remember, the transfer portal opens January 2nd, which is the second week of the college football playoff. So it's the idea of, if you know both of these kids, Dante Moore, there's a good chance Dante Moore comes back. And if both of the other kids already have a foot out the program, and Thomas is playing hard, this may be more about rewarding that, and also maybe someone that when you actually get into the playoffs and if you need a backup, he may be the only guy that's there. That's the conspiracy theory.
I'm not sure that's a conspiracy theory. I mean, that makes sense.
It makes sense, but obviously Lanning's not going to talk about that, and so you'll never really know. But it is odd, and I know Novosad has been beat up, and we don't know how healthy he is because Oregon doesn't talk about injuries. But there is the idea that you often don't see the 4th-string quarterback doesn't get reps. He just doesn't. And so the idea that over the course of the season, the 4th-string quarterback suddenly has become the 2nd-string quarterback, and he seems so adamant about defending that decision, which is not really that big of a deal. There's just some people that are trying to kind of look a little deeper into that there may be some things.
That makes sense. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Or saw that.
Well, this happened, this happened a handful of times now that we have the playoff and the transfer portal. Bo Perbula was the backup quarterback at Penn State, and a lot of people thought he should be the starter at Penn State. I happen to be one of those. I wasn't a Drew Aller guy. He left and was not with Penn State when they were making their playoff run, and it broke his heart, but he just said, I've got to find a place to land. And so he found his place in Missouri. So if you're Novosad or you're Moga and you think Dante Moore is going to come back, already, and this is kind of the ugly part about the transfer portal, most of these kids aren't using the transfer portal. They're just not. You have to enter the transfer portal when it comes down to it. By the time you've entered the transfer portal, you already have an idea of where you're going and probably have an NIL package worked out. That's what your agent's for. So that may be the other one. If either one of these kids is already letting it be known that they're not coming back, that might be another reason, if you're Dan Lanning, to go with the local kid that wants to be a Duck, that's going to be a Duck, that's just happy to be a Duck, as opposed to the other two that probably have a little greater aspirations than sitting behind Dante Moore for another year.
So I actually asked some very close sources to the University of Oregon this exact question last week about Brock Thomas and Austin Novosad, and I don't think it's just the fact that he's a local kid. Offensive coordinator Will Stein really likes Brock Thomas, really likes him a lot. Was hearing that even in a couple of years ago when Brock Thomas was just showing up, trying to get his feet wet in, at camp while Oregon was playing Liberty in the Rose Bowl, they were thinking, hey, if we don't have a quarterback here, should we put Brock Thomas in? Will Stein has been that high on him this whole time. And because of that, maybe what you're saying is true, that Austin Novosad, Luke Moga might be out the door already. Moga, is he even a true quarterback, guys? We've seen him earlier this season. He ran really well to the backfield. That's like an Eric Crouch situation for me.
All I'm saying is
This is an easy read here.
It is not normal for a 4th-string quarterback to get any sort of look in practice and become the 2nd-string quarterback. That's all.
Coaches have reasons.
Yes.
And it is always funny when people second guess coaches.
I'm not.
I mean, they know way more than you.
Exactly.
And they also have, they have other factors that can.
Sure.
I mean, what you just brought up makes total. I mean, come on. That's probably what's going on. If you would think about it.
I would think, but I don't know.
But we don't know. And Thomas was fine. Look, he was fine. 4 for 4.
Sure.
Better than I could do.
I
Or
don't
is
think
it?
that's the measuring stick.
Or is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can't
I
get
don't
out
know.
there I can't throw the ball with my tiny hands in that wet weather.
Yeah,
That's tough.
you'd be a mess out there.
I would be like Jared Goff out there with my tiny little mitts. That'd be problematic. So I just, conspiracy theories, are abound. But, at the end of the day, look, Dante Moore, have we even confirmed that he broke his nose or that he just had a bloody nose? Like whether.
Well,
I mean, it looked pretty
Lanning
swollen.
didn't say. He just said.
Yeah.
They said they could put him back in the game.
Exactly. As someone, unfortunately, that has broken my nose at time, I broke one last year, for God's sakes. Like, they're not. Had that been a meaningful game, Dante, they would have gone to the sideline. They stick a rod up there. You crank your nose to the other side if it's broken, and then you put a visor on it, and so that you can't get in there. And you just play. A broken nose would not have kept him out of that game.
I did ask Dusty in the post game on Saturday if kind of similar to a Jared Goff situation was, since Brock Thomas is the Sheldon, local kid, used to the rain, maybe more used to it than Dante Moore, was that the reason that Will Stein and Dan Lanning wanted to leave him in? And I don't think Dusty really thought that theory had much weight, but I still wonder, like, Dante's from Michigan, but he played in UCLA his freshman year. Why not go with a quarterback that grew up in high school?
That's not a thing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're going to run the ball anyway.
Dante Moore has big mitts and big hands.
Yeah, but the ball almost slipped out when he was trying to pump fake once.
The ball slips out of everyone's hand. Like this,
Mariota didn't hold on to the ball very well.
This idea that like
you're not going to bench him,
you get used. Like it's those are tough conditions for anyone to play quarterback.
But you just brought up the fact that Goff got benched. Why am I not valid in bringing up a similar situation?
Goff got benched because he fumbled the ball like 4 times in that game.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I promise you that no one went to that. No one in that coaching round was like, you know what? I bet you Brock Thomas, being from the Northwest, has played in bad. That's just not a thing.
All right.
That's just not.
Shut up.
Brock Thomas was the backup the week before. Brock Thomas right now, for whatever reason, he is the backup quarterback.
We're spending entirely too much time talking
Far
about this.
too much.
It's not that big of a deal.
I'll take my tinfoil hat off.
Here's the real question.
And Dante Moore's nose will be fine. Broken noses don't keep you out for.
The real question is this, and we'll talk about it next. Just how good is Oregon really?